Major funding for this program has been provided by Ghana Airways.
Ghana Airways.
For almost 40 years, Ghana Airways has been linking West Africa to the rest of the world. Your number one choice to West Africa.
Additional funding provided by Starlight Cleaners, taking care of you and your whole family. And Ascenta newspaper, bringing you community news both home and abroad. If it's about Africa, you can trust Ascenta.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Talk New York. Ever wonder who came up with building houses? How did he or she get the idea? I remember being frustrated because I didn't have enough money or human commitment to start projects that I thought would be beneficial to the community. I used to share my vision with people with the primary goal of seeking approval and soliciting help. I was often disappointed when they would point out to me all the factors that will prevent the project from succeeding, and often no help or positive feedback. I shared my frustration with an elderly friend one day. Almost close to tears, I said to her, "Why is it that people will only support an idea or get involved when a project is already developed? Why don't they get involved and take initiative? I'm one person. What can I do?" My friend listened patiently until I finished venting my frustration. Then she said calmly, "Do what you can. If you are committed and you truly believe in what you are doing, it will catch on." She probably said it to get me to shut up, but those words are the most motivational words I ever heard. Tonight, I have in the studio a person who did what she could for the love of it, and now it is a phenomenon. Baako project is a noble vision conceived by a woman who, on a cultural quest to West Africa, Ghana, visited a tiny village called Abinasi. She discovered a need and decided to do something about it. With her own money and donations from friends and a true commitment, the project has succeeded beyond expectation. Not only has she built a daycare center for the children of Abinasi, she's on her way to building an elementary school and a much-needed medical center for Abinasi. Who is this remarkable woman? Her name is Dale Kinney, also known as Nana Akua Antwiwaa II, a certified social worker from New York City. Tonight, I'm honored to welcome Nana Akua Antwiwaa, who is the founder and chief executive officer of the Baako Project. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me a chance to tell about what we're doing.
Okay.
And the mission that I see. It's very interesting what you said in the beginning about, do what you can, and that's really my philosophy. But sometimes it takes something to push us a little bit.
Okay.
And
what pushed you?
Well, I had this, I guess I had this love for Africa and the culture, the creativity and the spirituality. And I had the dream of, I had been to Africa before with a group from Harlem, the Mandela Center. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to go and not stay in a hotel. I wanted to stay in a village, and I wanted to stay with the African people. That was my dream. And to really study, be able to study and learn more. And I really felt some of the...
There are people who are watching the show who say, well, the Africans here in New York, Harlem, is, it's a big African community, Black Americans.
Right.
What is the difference? Why you have to go to Africa itself?
Well, I guess spiritually, you can go to Africa wherever you are. Mm-hmm. It depends on your mindset and your heart. And at that time, although I was involved in Harlem, I can't say I wasn't really interconnected with the African community here. So there's something about touching down your feet on Mother Africa. And if you read books and you study, that's where mankind came from, all of us, our descendants. So to go back there it's a strong pull, and it's something about our beginnings, humankind.
Okay.
So
Why Ghana?
why Ghana?
Why not Nigeria? Why not Ivory Coast? Why not Togo? Why Ghana?
Well, to me, in a way, it's just divine intervention. That's how I see it, because I needed a way, I needed a connection. And my pastor, Pastor Gomez from Abiding Presence Church, he had gone to Ghana, and he had a friend. He said, just buy your ticket. All you have to do is buy your ticket. All you have to do is make a phone call, and they'll meet you. However, it didn't turn out that way. I did buy my ticket. He called them, and there was no answer.
Oh my God.
And it was 3 days before my trip, and I was really sweating it. And then I tried different friends to see if I could get another connection, and one friend, Lorraine, told me, call Kwaku Carr in Washington. He's a African American studying to be a Kamfu. Well, he is a Kamfu now. So I guess I resisted a little because I'm a Christian, and yet I wanted to go a little deeper into the culture. And I called him.
So we have to tell people what Okoampa is.
Is a
Right, it's Okoampa. That's the Akan language, and what that means is that these are people who actually worship gods, or they're not Christians. Let's put it that way.
Well, there's one God.
There's one God that they
But
believe
then
in.
they also consider spirits.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I called him, and I spoke to him a little while, and he said, I feel your heart is good. And then I spoke to him a little longer, and he said, I see you there already. And then he said, when do you have to leave? What I said, he said, 3 days. That's going to be rough. He said, call me back tomorrow night after 10. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, tomorrow night, that's 2 days. So I still tried other ways, but I called back to, the next night at 10. He told me, I called my brother in Washington. He called his brother-in-law in Accra, and they'll be waiting for you at the airport. And my friend Judy, who's African American, she said, Dale, you can't do that. You don't know those people. And I said, I trust my connection, and I'm going. And it was like nothing could stop me. Then I heard there was some unrest, my pastor said. So I asked Mr. Dunphy, a man where I work, if he had heard anything. He said, don't worry, I'll call my brother in Accra. And he told me the next day, there is no problem, don't worry, go ahead.
These are very nice people, using their own money to call long distance, arranging things for you. That's the hospitality that Ghana is known for. Did you experience that when you went there?
I think Ghana is one of the most hospitable countries, and I think they have a reputation for that. But I have to say, from my experience, they really took me in and treated me very well. And they were very protective too. So in a way, I walked the streets of Harlem. I used to come out late at night, get into my car, and I had more protection there. And I said, when I come back here, it's like being on my own again, in a sense. But
yeah, because it would look bad for us if something should happen to you while you were visiting Ghana. But let's get back to the project. How did you come up with the idea of this Baako project?
Okay, I guess there was something I thought of when I was very young, but it was only hazy. And then also the social work in the city, that was the other thing. But when I went to the village, I didn't go to start a project. I went, and I did want to help in some way, but what impressed me about the village was the way people related each other, person to person. It was not that people didn't like to dress up and go, sometime, but it was like what you wore and everything really wasn't that important. I saw the connection between people. That's what was important. And I think sometimes we lose that here a bit. And then about the last day I was there, or the day before, I met the Queen Mother. And of course I was very interested to meet her because I wanted all the culture I could get. And I met her and her daughter, and Nana Kartate Tatete. And Tatete means in the house taking care of children. So she had started a daycare center with about 80 preschool children. And there was one pre-K in the village of Presby. However, they only were in the morning. And, you know, a lot of the parents would go out to the farm. So if you're American, you don't know, in Ghana, the farms, you live in the village and you go out, you walk out every day to work on the farms. So she was taking care of the children, and they were using a tiny Catholic church for the school. So when I asked her before I left, I didn't say I would do anything. I said, is there anything you could use? And she said, well, I could use help paying my assistant because the parents don't have so much money, and sometimes I have to pull into her, you know, her own money to pay it. And then she thought again, and she put her heads together with Kofi, that was going to be with me today, but had malaria. And they, you know, they said, well, we really need a school building. And I said, oh, how much would that cost? And they put their heads together again and thought about it, and they said $400 or $500. And I thought, $400 or $500? I didn't say anything, but I thought I could do that. And it ended up costing more than that, but I think if I had known it was like 1,000, you know, a little over 1,000, I would have been scared to start.
What actually amazes me about this project is that, and I read the information that you sent me, is that the villagers, I should say, the people from Abinasi, did most of the work, the manual work, I should say. They cleared the land, they fetched the gravel or whatever, and I believe the chief also donated some cement
Blocks on the first project, yes.
Why did they wait for Dale King to come from New York to give them that initiative to want it? What in your own looking at the project sitting back, what do you think they were lacking? Was it money? They had the resources, obviously, to a certain degree. Why did they wait for you?
Well, I think Ghana, Africa in general, does lack resources for development, but not completely. They do lack, and a lot more can be done if they had more seed money.
Is it money or initiative?
Then the initiative, I won't call it initiative, the will to think about other people other than just yourself, you know, and your family.
Well, this were their own children.
Right. There was the man that helped me the most and traveled with me, because I consider myself part of the Gona family. But okay.
I think the point I'm trying to make is not to get you to commit to anything, but I'm just trying to find out that if Dale Kenny is not there 30, 20 years from now, and I'm sure you'll be here for a long time, but if you are not there, would Abinasi continue? What was lacking? Couldn't they have done some of these things by themselves? That's the point.
Well, one thing was begun, and it was begun by a person that the man that almost came today, Kofi Justin Kissy, and he had moved to Accra, but he worked very hard to get electricity for the village. And he did it by getting everybody to be involved. Because one reason those cement blocks were there, someone else had started a project and I guess didn't have the will to see it through. So I think when I came to, they were wondering, would I see it through? But with the electricity, Kofi went to people outside that had left the village, that had, you know, more funds, plus people in the village. And he was persistent, you know, that they could do it. So I don't think it's a matter of, you know, where you're from, but if you have a vision and you really believe in it and you really work for it.
Do you think you have inspired that vision? Have you inspired people to envision by what you have done?
Yes, I do, but it hasn't all been easy because there were some differences there, you know, within the village, nothing to do with me, and people didn't want to do the community work the one time, and I went. Okay, we wanted the women to help with the gravels. So I went early in the morning before I got dressed, and I picked the gravels myself, and I brought a bucket. And the children, of course, they wanted to help me because the children always help the elders, which is the other beautiful thing there, what I see how the children, the values the children have, And so, anyway, I said, no, you can't help me. I have to do this myself. I took the bucket, dumped it, came back, got it. They weren't a big bucket, but I got another bucket. When I went back with my second bucket, a lady was there dumping a bucket. And she said, well, are you going to write my name down? Because I picked the first bucket of gravel. Oh. So I said, oh, no. I said, I guess not. You've picked the second bucket because I already brought one. Amen. So, of course, the word went through the village. But my point was that all of us can help. And it's not about some people being up here and some people being down there. But if we want to do something, we can do it together. We all have to do our part.
Obviously, the word Baako, for those who don't know, means unity is good. And that means that you didn't do all of this by yourself. No. You had help from people from this country. And you're still looking for help.
Yes.
And you're having a fundraiser, which we're going to talk about. And I believe there's a flyer that they will put up on the screen. This thing is a cultural tasting party. Well, and it's going to be on Saturday, September 27th.
Well, the food isn't the big part. It'll be Durbar. It'll be a cultural festival. And it'll be a Durbar, which is, well, you know more than I what a Durbar is. But that's when the chiefs come together and the people greet the chiefs. So it'll be, you know, the African ceremonial tradition. And then it will also be African American, some dance and some music.
Where are you going to do this at?
Okay, it's at St. Philip's Episcopal Church in Harlem, and that's 204 West 134th Street, between Adam Clayton Powell, Junior Boulevard, and which is 7th Avenue and St. Nicholas. And it starts at 5 o'clock. And our main project, well, the grade school that we built is already in use, but it still needs more completion. I think the classrooms are up to about blackboard level. And before that, the children, because their school had collapsed, they were like a year and a half without a school. Now, we're not just building buildings, we're building an organization there and here. And I think the Baako project members there's a lot of pride.
Why should somebody here in this country who has public schools, private schools, hospitals, have an apartment, minding my own business, why should I care about Africa? Why should I bring money to Abinasi or 4 places? Why do you think this project is so important that people should participate in it?
Well, you know, as long as, I mean, we have children in New York, we have to worry about their education too, but as long as one child isn't getting a proper education, it affects the world, it affects all of us. And I really believe what happens, we are all connected. What happens somewhere affects everywhere else. I guess for me, why Africa, because I have a certain pull in that direction. There are other places that have needs too. And we have needs right here. But part of the project isn't just to help Africa, it's to bring some of the values and of Africa here to help our young people here. Now, when I went over there and I spoke to the elders, I always asked them to pray for our youth here. And I let them know, because sometimes they look over here and think we have so many things. And we do have a lot of material things, but it isn't always shared evenly. And I let them know that we have a lot of problems with our youth, not all of them, but you know, in our society, there's greed, there's stealing, you know, sometimes people think an expensive pair of sneakers is more important than a human life.
When you went and completed the daycare center, you had a celebration, and I want the audience to see a little bit of that tape, the children dancing. So we're going to see that tape now.
That was a big day.
That was beautiful dancing of these young kids who obviously pay you tribute because they're happy you're giving them shelter and you're giving them education. You having this project going on, but you also brought some pictures and you brought some articles here that I think we should talk about and let the audience know because we're going to run out of time.
All right, this is, we have Baako t-shirts. And, you know...
Let's show it this way so we can, the camera can pick
part
it
of
up.
our, part of the way I feel is why buy t-shirts or clothes to support some rich European or American. Let's put the money back into the community, whether it's Africa or here. And that's what these t-shirts are all about.
Okay. And there's another color. Okay,
Right.
that's a t-shirt too. Okay. Okay.
Let's see. And then,
So you were going to have this at the celebration?
we'll have this, and okay, there's also numbers on our flyers.
Right. We will give that numbers at the end. Okay.
And then this is a picture, the first year, this is the year I became installed, and those were the first children in the daycare.
So you are Queen Mother now, which we haven't spoken about, and I'll let you tell me a little bit about that. But, okay.
And I'm there with the other Queen Mother and the children, and that's what it was all about, the children. And
let me see, those are the pictures also. Let's show the audience some of the...
That's the Queen Mother.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Let's show this.
It's a beautiful...
That's a beautiful picture. She's dancing and all decorated nicely. Okay. And that's another picture here that you have of when you were installed?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's good. What about, are you selling any of this? Or?
Well, we do have a few leather purses and some of the little dolls that you set up for sale that we will have at our event. This is a small one.
This is small. Okay. And I think some people have seen it somewhere in 125th Street. There's some variations of this. Okay.
And
all right. And then you brought back some pictures of this. Children who are very happy, obviously, to have a daycare center.
Well, that was before the daycare center.
That was before.
They were singing, and that was the daycare center in process.
Oh, they're being built, okay.
Right.
All right.
And that's a picture of the
completion.
Daycare.
Oh, okay. That is great. That's a very nice building.
And in the beginning, the first and second graders were in there because they had lost their school.
Okay, and I believe Justin is on this picture?
Yes.
He's the...
Right, and the Queen Mother, and this man is very important to me. He's the Busapanyan, which means the leader of the clan.
Busapanyan, okay.
And he's about 100 years old.
Oh, and these are Black Americans who all dressed up?
Right. And
that
Nana
is beautiful.
And Nana, who's Ghanaian, and Nana Yanku Boeing, who's Dr. Boeing in Harlem.
That's beautiful. Well, you do have a lot of beautiful pictures here that you brought. But the main thing is that you want this project to go forward. And I asked you before, why should people get involved in this project? Why is this project so important?
Well, Africa right now is it has a lot of difficulties because of the whole world system. And I think a little bit of money from us, like $100 here, goes much further there. So, you know, every church or every African American church or a white church, if they're interested, could interact with a built village. And
it doesn't take that much to build this building. You spend about what, $1,500?
Yes.
Something like that.
Okay, and on the grade school, I think so far about $1,500 is what I brought. But the people there.
What about the nursery? How much in total do you think you spent?
A little bit more, over 1,000, between 1,000 and 1,500.
To get that building.
Yes, 2 big classrooms and 2 fairly good other rooms also.
That's amazing. Just that little money. Well, I would invite everybody to come out and support this wonderful celebration for the Baako project to benefit these children in Abenase, Ghana, West Africa. For information, the flyer is going to be on the screen, but for information, let me read out the numbers here that you could call. It's 718-364-6423, 718-617-8240. I'm sorry, it's 8240, and 718-946-1240. These are some of the numbers that you can call. when is this? The program was
September
27th. At what time?
5 o'clock.
How-
Any Ghanaians out there, it's 5 o'clock, not 10:30.
Well, for the Ghanaians, tell them 3, and they'll be there exactly
That's
at 5
right.
o'clock. Okay, so you are inviting people to come over and help you out with this. What is
Yes.
going to be what is the focus of this particular celebration?
Well, it's a fundraiser. I guess we'll need some of the funds to complete the grade school, but then I'm really hoping to start the healthcare center. And
How has the women of Abinasi been educated in this process, be that these are their children? Because I know you have a lot of stories, but we're almost out of time.
well, okay, that was one thing that we started when I was there, like a self-empowerment of the women that was going to be spearheaded by the Queen Mother and also by the midwife around nutrition and health care. Because most of the children only get maybe 1 or 2 immunizations, and there were a number of deaths last year because of measles without immunizations and secondary to malnutrition. And some of it is because they don't have the resources, but
And
some of it is not understanding the balanced diet.
And you realize also that the people who get pregnant won't even visit the doctor till the day they have a baby, and sometimes even have
Some
it at
of
home.
them, right.
So this medical center is geared towards educating these women also
Well,
and helping out.
okay, education of everybody. You know, education is a mutual thing.
Right.
I'm learning, going, and I'm bringing some things. And as the needs arise, there are more things that I have to learn and that they have to learn.
Okay.
And in order to do what we're about.
Right. But education in terms of helping the children, helping these mothers help the children because they are the future. I would like to thank you very much, Dale Kenny, Akua Antwiwaa, for being here. Please go out September 27th. Make a date on your calendar to go and join Dale for this cultural festival, and it's also a fundraiser. Whatever little you can give will help. Remember, she built a whole daycare center with $1,500. That's amazing. Please come out and help her out. This is Agyemang, Okoampa-Ahoofe for Talk New York. Thanks for watching. Good night.
Major funding for this program has been provided by Ghana Airways.
Ghana Airways.
For almost 40 years, Ghana Airways has been linking West Africa to the rest of the world. Your number 1 choice to West Africa.
Additional funding provided by Starlight Cleaners, taking care of you and your whole family. And a center newspaper, bringing you community news both home and abroad. If it's about Africa, you can trust a center.